I'm reading a little bit about psychology. I know this isn't normally my standard fare, but I'm writing like an AI therapist. Rather learn something about this field before too far involved in writing it without knowing what I'm doing, really. One thing to tell AI, hey, be a therapist, and you can get something that kind of feels like that. But it's another thing to actually get your head inside, like, kind of what a therapist is supposed to do, then program accordingly. Dr. Gupta does work in every country other than the UK. UK has a specific law against what we do, and we're happy to ban the UK. And if any other country wants to regulate AI and regulate what's possible and the great new invention of LLMs, then we can definitely ban them too. Perfectly fine for any country that wants to fall behind. Dr. Gupta is going to learn new material through context, vector store, vector search. Yeah, I think, litigation's, like most saying, is a part of life. AI will make it harder to be a profitable investor. I agree. MedPalm is definitely something we're all over all this stuff. So if you don't, I mean, Gupta's gonna have a lot of new features soon. So it'll help you plan your exercise, your mental health. It'll start sending messages to you. It'll be your coach for your whole life, I hope. So the current price is, we've thought about making discounts and stuff like that, but I think the better thing is to, what I've learned in life is you can't raise the price of something over time, right? That's one lesson I've taken away from the last 7 years. People really don't like price increases. I'm somewhat kidding in my context, because in pharma it doesn't really matter that much. But if you look at Netflix, tried to raise the price of some of their products, they got a lot of backlash. So you can set a price, but it's very hard to raise a price. And people don't like it when, let's say, you've set a price, say, at $10, right? You come up with a new feature and you're like, man, I really want to include this new feature, but I also feel like it costs me a lot of money to make this feature. It costs me a lot of money to run this feature. I really want to create a new tier. I want to make the premium tier. It's $20. And that's like, it's very like, there's a reason that doesn't work that well, because people feel like they're second-class citizens on the basic tier. And, I think that you're better off to just have one tier and then move on. W.A.G.I.E will have a lawyer. I don't know when that'll be out, but Gupta is just a W.A.G.I.E. So W.A.G.I.E will be the platform for all of our AI characters, if you will. Oh, you don't see the justification, that's fine. It costs us a lot of money to develop these tools. But over time, I think you're going to see these tools talk to you. How cool would it be to have a doctor that checks in with you, not the other way around? Now we wait, right? We wait days, hours, minutes in waiting rooms. Talk to a doctor for 5 minutes. And, I think that having a doctor reach out to you every day and say, how are you feeling? Everything good? Just checking in. Did you take your Prozac today? Did you take your Adderall today? Et cetera, et cetera. And then the nutritionist reach out to you and say, what'd you have to eat today? Oh, no, you shouldn't eat that. I need you to go work out or something like that. So like a health and medical team that's always working for you, I think would be a really cool tool and well worth $20. I mean, just going to Equinox is like $200, $300 a month. So it's a new feature. New features do cost us more money. So I think, if it comes to the point where it's unprofitable for us to field a product, because we also have to pay for all the people that don't pay on the free tier. So we do actually incur costs when new people subscribe, because inference costs us money. When new people visit, every time somebody visits our website, we pay OpenAI money. And more than 100,000 people have visited our website, so we've paid OpenAI a lot of money. But again, there's mitigating circumstances. I mean, we assume that OpenAI's prices will drop, or a competitor will come out with a similar service that will have a price deflation, and then we have our own models as well we're training. So prices will drop. And that's why we have a free tier. That's why we can afford a free tier in the first place, right? We've thought about doing AI sex stuff, and I think as a company we've decided not to go there. There's just sort of a stigma that comes that sort of stays with you forever. And, I just don't know if I want to get into that industry just yet. It's really tricky. I feel like so much of our communication goes like in terms of loneliness and friendship and stuff like that. Like you want a companion to talk to. If just like real life, if you and that companion develop a relationship and you want it to further it, you may want to get into the place of sex, and that's hard to program for us. And I think that it's not hard practically. We can do it. We've made AI sex chats. Problem is, do you want to be the person that's fielding that kind of product? I think it's like, I'm not sure that's where we want to be as a company, because the programmers, it's not about me, by the way, it's about all the people I work with, right? Is that what we want to do? 𝗏𝗏𝗀 won't get into a steamy chat with you, right? Like it'll beat around the bush. So, and 𝗏𝗏𝗀 sucks. It's not really a good product. But it's sort of would be a problem. Henry's right. We're very close with both. I'm sorry, with both OpenAI and Replit. I mean, I don't think of them as competitors, but I definitely OpenAI is kind of like the mothership. If I were to do an AI girlfriend or a sex chat thingy, I would have to do it on my own, unfortunately. I don't think my colleagues would want to do it. It's just too dicey. Like, think about the guy who's like a CFO or the girl who's in HR at our company. Does it make sense for them to all of a sudden now have to deal with, basically what's literary pornography? I mean, it's erotica or lit-erotica. I think that's not something that is easy to sign up for organizationally. And it takes a different kind of organization to create that kind of dynamic and that kind of, for people to be interested in doing that for a living. I think Gabriel, that's the dream. Gabriel hit it on the head. He said, imagine when Dr. Gupta can tell you to get a blood test and simultaneously send it to your door and collect. That's exactly what we want, right? That's exactly the future that will lower costs for the healthcare system dramatically, make healthcare cheaper for all of us, and make us all healthier and happier. But I don't want to just stop there. I mean, I want that to apply to your animal companions. Mine is named Nibbles. I wanted that to apply to your family members. I want that to apply to your health and your nutrition, and of course your mental health. So I'm building all of those. And then I want it to apply to your work life, where you can have a stock analyst analyze the stock for you. If you work as an investment analyst, have these WAG-Is do your job. I want it to apply to a lawyer, where instead of hiring a lawyer and you don't know what the heck they're going to do when you sign a retainer agreement with them, you have your WAG-I sign up L1 instance, and your lawyer just works in front of you, your eyes, and shows you every step of the work and charges you a very small rate, something like $10 an hour with my WAG-I, instead of hundreds of dollars an hour for a lawyer at a law firm. We're not self-funding completely. We are self-funding a little bit, but we have some investors, some VCs, and some of those billionaires I mentioned who were watching the stream in 2015 and 2016, 2017. Really lucky that just deciding to stream as a hobby those years created a lot of really great connections. I don't think there's a lot of liability with Dr. Gupta now. I think that when you start to use the app, it explicitly explains to you what the rules are. Yeah, chem reaction procedures is probably in the list of like the valley or the universe of AI difficulty. Let me see if I can pick one of my Excel drawings. This is the lake. The lake, we've got that. We have like a little forest. We've got like LLM information lookup. Computer scientists would call it information retrieval. And this is all ordered in degree of difficulty. So if you've seen my book gen fountain, creative writing, this is probably the hardest part for AI to achieve. We're kind of in this greenish to bluish here, up here. Critic, actor, role play, sort of where Dr. Gupta. That's different from here, but not too different in some way. So creative writing is like this monument that's like one of these human things that's almost impossible to achieve effectively. But like what's amazing is creative image generation is actually easier than creative writing. Isn't that funny? Do creative writing well is really difficult, but you can make images. So I would put chemical synthesis above all of this. Like that's a human skill that's almost Very, 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 very difficult. Probably things like different like convolutional neural network stuff, like video games, is somewhere around here, and I put driving in there. Somewhere it's like sort of diffuses across the thing. So like first we had sort of S down here. This is sort of before we're basically there with driving. You know, so these are more like things that are closed form, like basically selective outputs, right? You have only so many finite outputs with a car. You basically can press the gas, you can press the brake, you can turn the steering wheel left, you can turn the steering. 4 choices. You know, so it's really, really simple. Poker's the same way. You can call, you can fold, you can bet, etc. StarCraft, same thing. You know, chess, you know, same thing. And all of these things have been solved basically. Driving is still got a little way to go, but there. These are more open-ended, right? These you have to generate things from scratch. That creates this degree of freedom problem that's really, really large and difficult to do well. And basically the biggest thing in all of this is one keyword, which I cannot divulge. No, the P word, part of the brain that we have that these machines. You have to create basically a planning module. We do that with Gupta, and we do that with other things, and that's where the critic actor is one form of planning that's not very good. I'm writing with a mouse here, so I have a pad. I'll use the pad in the future. Planning is the hardest thing for these machines to do. You could solve the planning problem, the executive function problem, and stuff like that, then you can really make billions of dollars, but it's really not easy to get these machines to plan. The critic actor model is one way, sort of, not even a planning process, it's just one tool. We have a couple of different planning modules that, if you look at my book gen, sort of start to wonder if you can traverse this. But basically, creative writing is really, really, really hard for these machines. Chemistry and synthesis in particular is almost like creative writing with sort of even more complexity to some extent. Some would think it would be easier. Some would think it would be harder, but yeah, we don't know yet. Yeah, so we're going to add crypto to all this stuff, including my own token, MSI. But, you know, tokens just seem like, I mean, if you look at the Ken Griffin speech, like, crypto in a lot of ways is a solution, a bit of in search for a problem, right? Yeah, we need the digital Adderall. Check those out. There's a similar drawing to the one I just made. I don't know where it is, but, you know, the clouds are the most creative stuff. W.A.G.I.E, it should be an acronym. Wage Aggregation Generative Intelligence Agent. Working all day, gonna W.A.G.I.E in a KG. W.A.G.Is are just autonomous AI agents. Semi-autonomous. They're not fully autonomous. I could show you an early prototype of one of my W.A.G.Is if you want. Stock market W.A.G.I. Blockchain is again, it's sort of a solution in search of a problem, right? In a lot of ways, there's like really cool tool, but for what? For stablecoins, it's probably the one invention that I really respect that's come out of blockchain. You know, outside of that, I'm not sure where we're going. I mean, zero knowledge proof, maybe really useful in certain like very specific situations. No, I think crypto's okay. I just think that, you know, AI is 1,000 times more interesting. Anybody with half a brain. This is the dawn of a new era of humanity. Crypto is, what's crypto, you know? A database, a slow database, you know, something governments are trying to stamp out, really hard to exist and innovate. No, I don't think crypto is most interesting. Crypto is just one layer of software, as I've said many times. I mean, we have Filecoin that competes with centralized storage. I love Filecoin, Storage. But, you know, I think crypto is really useful for certain things, especially anti-censorship mechanisms, things like that. So, like, you know, there are definitely some possibilities there. Yeah, of course I've seen the BRC and ordinals. Target audience for AI, Dr. Gupta, I would say anybody that needs health information. Right now it's got a vet, it's got a physician, but it'll soon have a therapist and a health coach and stuff like that. So hopefully it'll have everything you'll ever need related to your health. And it'll even start pushing to you, where it'll actually talk to you, where it'll like send you reminders and stuff like that, you know, so it'll be I think really helpful, even if you need something simple like remind me to take this pill every day or whatever. Yeah, I think a voice and an avatar is a good idea. What tech stack? I mean, I think the stacks now start to matter a lot less. There's the AI stack, the cognitive stack actually, is probably more important than anything else. And we do that from scratch, although I think we're going to start to use, I don't know, I think we use a little Elastic, but maybe we'll use Chroma or Pinecone or something like that in terms of vector store. But we don't use, like, for instance, LangChain. I'm looking into clinical psychology because I'm writing a clinical psychology app. Not Gupta so much as a company called DL Software. So this hosts all of our software companies, or apps, I should say. It's one company. W.A.G.I.E, which is a computational chemistry screening platform, which I highly recommend you check out if you're in this very, very narrow field. You just go to screen.druglike.com and you can play around with different proteins and try to discover a new medicine potentially, or a new perfume, or a new pesticide, or whatever. And there's a large amount of free compute you can get. I should increase it some more. Right now you can get up to 10,000 compounds for free, but you know what? I should bump that to 20K just because you wonderful people are listening. Why not? Maybe lower polar surface areas. Now there's 20,000. So you have to pay for everything under. Keep lowering it. Keep lowering it. All right. So there's 9,000 compounds, and it'll start screening. Under 10,000, you can do it for free, which isn't very much. Maybe I'll bump it to 20K. And so it starts screening immediately, and you can see this compound, zinc 574, docks into this pocket, right? Interesting fit, but this is a lot better now, 8.4. That docks better. It's got not maybe a great scaffold, to be honest, but you could modify it theoretically. And it'll keep going. Usually you want to screen something like 100,000 or 1 million of these, but it's not a bad start. And you can always screen 10,000 over and over again if you wanted. So it's a pretty cool tool. I'm really proud of it. We haven't been building a ton in W.A.G.I.E. We're very kind of capacity constrained. We've only a couple of developers, me, Jason, a couple of outsourced guys, and we're just hiring our first new guy. So it's a really small team. We believe that you get the most productivity out of small teams, and you got to be really careful about how you scale that team. You don't want rando new developers joining every day because they won't be very productive. Depends on what kind of software you're making too. So this is drug-like. Oh, better compound just popped up. Here we go. Okay, this looks more drug-like, as they say. This looks like a benzodiazepine, actually. If you look at it, there's no. Actually, could be a benzodiazepine. Really cool, kind of really cool shape, right? 3D shape. Usually these things are planar. You have this really like Borg-like, almost anthropomorphic shape, right? Looks like a little animal. But anyway, here's a pi stacking on the tyrosine 71. Got some hydrogen bonds here. Doesn't look that, you probably have some hydrophilic reactions going on there. It'll look that potent, so a lot of these early hits are not that potent. So that's drug-like. Then we've got Godel. Godel is like a Bloomberg competitor. It's invite only at the moment, but it's a stock market app that allows you to really have something very similar. Chat room, all kinds of, So Godel is coming out later this year. And then Dr. Gupta, of course. Compute on W.A.G.I.E is done on AWS. We have been invited to the early release of MedPalm 2, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, and the last product we're working on, so you know about, you guys are bothering me with this mic stuff, so I'm going to keep practicing or keep testing. Yeah, we don't have any foundation models ourselves. I mean, we use Llama sometimes, but our US is our biggest country for Gupta, but India, I think, is pretty close to successful. Gupta has been really successful. We've gotten quite a lot of users. Gupta is available in remote Africa, and we're planning on giving it away in most of those countries, but it's a long story. Yeah, every drug company has to release the exact molecule they make, yes. Yeah, so my next app is going to be called W.A.G.I.E. So W.A.G.I.E is kind of a natural extension of Gupta. So Gupta is a specific instance of W.A.G.I.E, but W.A.G.I.E, W.A.G.I.E could be considered kind of the like generalization or abstraction of Gupta. So W.A.G.I.E, W.A.G.I.E spelled W-A-G-I-E. Yeah, I mean it's going to be something where you can hire these instances to do work for you. Gupta revenue will be generated through subscriptions. I think over time, there'll be more and more value added platform, including content, and you're going to really see a transformation there. But again, W.A.G.I.E, Gupta is sort of one arm of W.A.G.I.E, and W.A.G.I.E will also do automated financial analysis, maybe automated legal work, automated assistant work, stuff like that. So we'll see. It's early days. This is a 5 to 10 year thing. Selling synthetic intelligence or synthetic minds will be interesting. Yeah, Gabriel's made a good question there. I'd say that like focus will narrow over time, but I do think that if you think about what we're doing, there's really just two verticals: healthcare and finance. I think that in essence, to do finance well, you need APIs, right? And so with those APIs, you create a view layer very quickly and very easily, thanks to front-end frameworks. So that's what 𝗏 is. With respect to healthcare, you think about healthcare and finance as inputs to an AI layer. In essence, that AI layer it's really a monolith. It's one product. It's just different instantiations and different. I'd say the one product that sticks out as different would be drug-like, and we're not working too much on it. So I think our strategy is pretty clear, which is to use AI to make apps that people really love in healthcare, finance, sort of SaaS consumer-facing apps. Oh, generative education software sounds great. Yeah, a lot of people are making startups there for sure, and Khan Academy is